Alright, morning guys. So, welcome back to this will be video 75. I've got a little bit of footage left over from yesterday's stuff that I'll put in at the start of this, which is me remaking the pieces for the top. I sort of had a leftover footage yesterday, and the video was getting pretty long, and I thought I'd sort of finished the video, and then I managed to get another piece of steel that wasn't hardened. Like, I could have heated it up and softened it, but it's a fairly decent chunk. It would have taken a fair bit to get it cherry hot to take the heat, take the tension of it. So it was just as easy to just find another piece of steel. It was no biggie. I can use it for something else later if I need it, whatever, but probably not. But so I'll throw that at the start of this video, and then what I want to do now, which you'll see in a few minutes, obviously. I'm going to clean a little wooden table in the middle. I could repair that, but I'm not going to panic just right at the moment. I've got most of the things here I need to start mocking up this top, and obviously want to finish making those pieces for the top, for the front here. I've drilled the holes and everything, bits and pieces in those blocks. Well, drilled some of the holes, but I need to finish them, and I also want to set up, because I've got most things I need to make the top within reason. So I want to try and see if I've got enough space in that table to set up a jig to lay the bits of timber in to glue them together. So I need to make that shape and the curves at the corner, so I can sit the bits of wood in there and then clamp them together. So I know that they will all be the same shape. They will all be about 1500 wide, and that radius in the corner will be 150 mil on the inside. So I need to just sit there, and I want to lay that out and put some bits of timber, so when I stack the piece together, it's not going to be terribly thick, but most of them will be at least 2 layers of timber thick or whatever, a bit more than that, and then the back one will be a bit thicker than that in the centre, so we'll have to layer that up a bit more. What I can do is probably sandwich 2 together, the centre piece, and then clamp one on top, and then possibly flip it over and clamp another one on the other end, and so we can cut it, because it'll be 75 mil wide across that back piece, so it needs more than just a couple of layers, or a couple of 3 layers. It needs probably an extra piece on each side type thing. So you want to get that set up, and obviously start maybe playing with a section of this. Hope they haven't cut this too short. I'm not sure what length I've cut that, because I need, I was actually hoping they might have transported that in longer lengths. I should be alright, but there's 4 longer pieces in here, and then there's another piece that's a bit shorter. Like, most of the pieces aren't that long, but I just hope that we've got enough actually usable material, so not even to join a piece, if you know what I mean. So I'll have to work that out too. I want to get some of these things sussed today, so hopefully today and tomorrow, and possibly a bit of Saturday, I can get a lot of this sort of made, or at least fairly well made. It'd be nice to get a couple of bows at least together, and try and piece it together with what we've got here. Like, what I'll end up doing is using a lot of little bits of links that I've made to sort to see whether that's still working when we actually make the real things, and then when we make the proper pieces, we can do little adjustments if needed. Because things will change, because all of a sudden our tubes have got way thicker. We're not playing with this stuff anymore. We're playing with this stuff. So there's quite a size difference. So we're going to have to allow for that. But yeah, so we'll come back to you shortly. I'll get myself sort of sorted up. Oh, the other thing I do, I went bought a shitload of Marko pens. Because the 2 I've got here, I basically stopped working, and I grabbed myself just a cheap sort of like box cutter type knife, just so I've got one here. I've got my pocket knife, but I haven't got like a box cutter for cutting straps or anything like that. Just quicker. So yeah. Anyway, I've got myself sorted out here, and we'll see you back here after the other pieces. Righty, we'll try again. I was going to just put it in the vise and the pillar drill. It's a bit frickin' wide. I can't get it won't fit in there. But I did do a test little drill in the corner, just with the hand drill, and it drills in there. So at least I know this should be mild steel. So I'll cut this off. I won't worry about recording it again, and we'll come back to you. Even the center punch worked better. I got a better mark. So yeah, definitely not as hard. Well, we got our first hole through. That's a start. Oh, we'll change to a bigger bit. So the table is 1500 long, but it's barely like it's like 1500 and a little bit of change, if you know what I mean. Oh, just trying to get that fucking thing to sit still. So yeah, it's barely long enough for what I want to do. It's like 1500. It's like 1525, which is like 1 inch. Like it's only that much longer than 1500, so it doesn't really give me much to make a jig from, if you know what I mean. Like I've barely got enough. Like you just be putting little thin strips of wood there to sit stuff in. So, like you know, like at least it's not terribly thick, but it gives me something else to anchor a couple bits of board into, little blocks into, so I can map the shape out. So I'll work out in the bits and pieces now. I might make just a little radius gauge out of a screw and a marker pen sort of type thing. I'll just get a bit of wood and drill a couple of holes in it, one to put a pen in, another one so I can draw out what I want and go from there. That edge, bar edge is nice and square. That's the finished edge off the actual board that piece was cut from. Just a spare piece of plywood, whatever it is, ½ inch thick type sort of stuff. Might be a little bit thicker than that. So yeah, I'll map out on there what I need. At least then I can use that to make my bows, the wood part anyway. And at least then they should be all the same, and that'll give me a template to cut bits of timber with. I'll make some templates, so when I go to cut the pieces of timber I've got, I can cut them all roughly the same, and then glue them together. But I'll get this marking out. So I'll just use this, and I'll put a nail in here or something like that, and then drill a hole. I'll drill one for the inside radius and one for the outside radius, so when I can mark the ends once I get the lines measured out. Work out what I need to do. So I'll do that now. That's a bit of a bummer. As I said, I thought that was the finished edge, but it's not. It's just a piece that's been cut off. So I'll find something that's nice and straight and we'll mark that. I've got some angle line over there a little bit. So that's those roughly mucked out. They give me a rough idea of what I need. So it's obviously going to go that way a little bit to slip into the steel. And then around here, and obviously the same back out the outside. So it's basically about as wide as a table. Not quite, if you know what I mean, but borderline. So now I need to make some pieces to sit in here, obviously, so we get all the timber in the right place when we set it up. So I'm going to have a play with some of this tube and just have a suss out what I'm going to do here and then instead, until we work out where we're going to take some timber to, or work out what we're going to do. Well, how you going, guys? So I'm just playing with this tube. I've just cut a little short piece off so I can see what it's going to take to squeeze it in to basically be about that diameter. Because, yeah, I don't know. It's going to take a bit to get it in there. Now I'll just add a quick, I just googled it, because this is going to be about 20 mils on the inside or thereabouts diameter. So I need about 60 something mils of tube, if you know what I mean. So I'm just going to try and see if I can see how long that is actually on over there. We'll go like this. We'll go roll that tape out. Actually, better idea. So I need about 60 something mils of tube to actually get it to that diameter. Just take it quietly here. So I just want to work out how much I need to cut off. V out. So we're going to be somewhere in that sort of ballpark. So you're going to taper it or V it, whatever that is, each side, and then try and squeeze it in. So it's going to take some doing. Sorry, you couldn't even see that. So yeah, this is obviously the diameter of the 40 mil or whatever it is. To get it into 20, I need that much less wall to squeeze it in and roll it round, which is going to be bloody interesting to do actually. Yeah. So what I need to do is work out what's left and then take that off each side and when I V it out. So what do we get left there? Oh, turn this tripod around so you can see what I'm doing. We'll try anyway. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing here. These funny tapered tubes. Right. So this is what I've got left. I think that was one. Yeah. So what have I got left? 10, 20, 30, 40. So I'm cutting about 50 mil out of it. So I've got to cut 25 mil each side of this tube off, or an inch, basically. So from that split, somehow, that's off. So I've got to cut to about there off, and to about there off. So give or take. So I want to see what it's going to take to squeeze this in and roll it around. So depending on the length of the tube, yeah, I've got to cut from here to here and then try and squeeze it. Obviously I don't need to do a short piece like that, but I am going to have to do a piece that's about that long, which is really going to take some freaking work. Man, why do these things have to be so difficult? like this piece here is probably not going to be too bad because this is the longest one. So it's going to be, yeah, basically that round at that end, but sort of semi-squared a little bit, obviously to fit. Pick this up, so I've got to squash it. And obviously this will be narrow, the piece that's going into it will be narrowed a little bit to slip inside. But yeah, at this end, it's got to be chopped down to about there. What a big V. So yeah, somehow I've got to cut from there to there off in a consistently straight line. It's going to be entertaining, isn't it? Get that too. Almost need to get a, I would say a few hose clamps possibly, and as I'm heating the tube up, keep tightening them, maybe. I have to think about this, don't I? Yes, I am. Because what I'm going to do is I can actually cut this off here and then see what it takes to get it that short bit. Fun. The big thing is I've actually got that rod that I can put on the inside of it, squeeze it up to it, shape it around it for that end anyway. And then just trying to get the rest of it to blend nicely. It's no simple task. No simple task at all. But at least I can cut down the centre and reasonably simply. I've got that blue line to go by. Where it's been, joint. With a factory sort of heat joint, whatever it is, where it's been fused together. And they make it. Yes. Why do I do this to myself? I don't know. Right. I'll check what the time is in a minute. Let's mark this other end. 55. See what it takes to freaking squeeze this in. Gold. It's not going to be fun. I'll have to cut a bit of that rod off, just so that's something there to form it round. Righty. Actually, I just nicked the first 25mm off, and I actually just squeezed this in. I think that's possibly what I need to do is cut one side off, crush it in until I get to about that stage, and then possibly see if I can get it a bit rounded in that, and then cut the other side off, and then see if I can squeeze it in again, if you know what I mean, but on the taper, not just round. But what I'll do is now if I've got to that size, I'll cut this piece off and I'll see if I can, yeah, I think that's probably the way to do it, is just to gently squeeze it in with the vise, and then once we get really close, then we can obviously magnet. Then once we get it close, we can obviously clamp it in the vise. We'll get it to that point and weld it up. So yeah, I'll cut. I actually might try and just squeeze it this way and round it, and then cut this off and see if I can get it to close up to close to that 20mm. I'll come back to you in a minute. Right, so there's the 2 bits are cut off. That's what I got to. So I think that'll work. That actually worked fairly simple. I actually thought it might have been a bit more of a struggle than that to get it to form nice. So we went from that to that out of the same piece of tube. So I think that's going to work. Well, I know that'll work. I was a bit sceptical about how I was going to close it up, but yeah, I think that's the trick. We'll just take one side off, squeeze it up until we've got the joint together all the way along again, and then cut the other side off and then squeeze it up again. Yeah, and then obviously we want that sort of semi-square at the other end, so we can semi-square it once we've actually got it probably tacked. You know, we can semi-square this end up to accept, well, not accept, but to make it that sort of shape at the end to accept that piece to go into it. So yeah, it doesn't need to be exactly that, but yeah, we can semi-square that up. So yeah, sweet, that's cool, because this here is, I think, a little bit oversized. Yeah, it's a wee bit oversized, it's about right. So yeah, the piece that's going to go into it will be shaved down a little bit anyway, to slip inside, which is kind of obvious, but yeah, that's cool, that'll work. I'm happy now. Sometimes you look at something and you go, how's that going to work? And then it's like you will play with it and you go, oh, okay, that was easy. Yeah, it's pretty much spot on. Perfect. Awesome. Righty, we might have come up with a plan for these sticks. We've set that old table saw up. I didn't realise he actually had a gauge for it. So yeah, we can actually cut down to about this thick, but what I'm going to do is we're going to split these strips into about 2 inches wide and then try and cut it the other way and see if we can get as many thin strips as we can, and we're going to layer it up. I'll have to build this up so we can pull it round, but you get the point that we can bend that round in there, no problems at all. Actually bend that curve and layer these pieces up, and we'll glue it that way at about whatever that height is, and glue it together as we do it, obviously, and try that, and hopefully it's we'll just, if they're a bit short at one end, we'll just have to mix and match some short bits if we have to, because we need it about this long. So I think that will work. Yeah, I might just have to like put some little joins in it every now and again, just keep staggering them backwards and forwards and glue it up until we got something about, you know, a little bit thicker than this. And we're just going to have to glue it and hold it, and hope that when we let it go it doesn't spring back or anything silly like that. And obviously I'm going to play with this as well, so what I might do is see if we can cut down some strips successfully, and then see if we can make this up, and then if I get enough time I'll come back to that. I just want to have a go at this. This might be a better way than trying to stack it, because we can't, the blade's not deep enough to cut 100mm deep to do it the other way, but I think it'll probably be a better result, and glue it together. So yeah, alright, well, I'll get playing over here and see how I get on, and I'll come back if I can get some decent strips about 2 inches wide like that. Righty, so what I'm going to do now, I've cut a few strips. It's going to work quite well, I think. They're not dead even, like they're not at consistent thickness, but they're the same width. It fluctuates a little bit, but I don't think it's going to matter what time we layer them up and pull them around, glue them around, as long as it's thicker than what this is, and it's, you know, put plenty in there, plenty of glue in there, and clamp it all together and glue it all together. It's not going to matter if it's a little bit thick and a little bit thin, because we can come along here and trim it off and shape it off and all that sort of shit later anyway. So I'm just going to, some of these bits I was playing around with before, I'm just going to cut that inside radius and screw it down here, and then obviously add some blocks and some bits and pieces along here, so it's
that high or a little bit more, and obviously down here, and then we can pull these pieces around and I'll make up, or even I'll just put some blocks in here or something like that so we can clamp it and whatever, and work out what we need to do to get it in there, and then yeah, and then obviously glue one together and hopefully not glue it to the table, but yeah, at least get one setting, and then yeah, we'll see if we can see what we can do. I'm not sure if I should lay something down here first, just so the glue doesn't stick to it. But yeah, these are a little bit wider than what I need for the 3 main ones. The last one is going to be a little bit more difficult. I think I should be able to cut 75mm wide strips and run it through that saw. I'm not sure like that. I hope, because yeah, the last one will have to be 75mm wide, because it's going to be 75mm wide here. It doesn't matter around here, but it still needs to be that, because it's got to bore around here and cut the excess off anyway at some point. So yeah, which is going to be actually interesting. Yeah, we'll work it out. But I think this way will probably be better than what I'd thought the other way, because I think it'll be stronger, because there was always the grains running, you know, around the strong direction, and it shouldn't break off. And obviously when we glue it together, it's not seen anyway because it's covered in fabric and what sort of stuff. But yeah, as long as it's nice and strong and looks tidy when it's done, we should be good. But yeah, I'll get these forms cut, get some more forms cut for the other side. Like I'm not going to, I probably won't need this, but I won't throw it away, because it might be just help clamp the corner and type sort of thing. And I'll obviously make another one, but yeah, we'll get it built up, get it set up so we can at least get one clamp together and start, and then I can puddle around with this stuff too. Unfortunately, the first one I make won't be to fit that tube, because that's one of the back tubes. That's the main back one. But I can, you know, we can make some of the others fit later on. It doesn't matter. It's no biggie. But yeah, it's cool. At least we figured out a way that we can do it in-house, instead of having to pay somebody else to rip down timber or strip down timber or whatever. I possibly could have done it the other way too, now that I know, because I didn't realise I didn't know that he actually had a proper back gauge for that thing. I wasn't sure where it was and type sort of thing. But anyway, we'll get it sorted. Righty, I'm getting there. So I'm just laying it in there at the moment just to see how much I need to actually make one. So obviously got a few short ends to fill in, bits and pieces, but yeah, I need to cut some more. I've got a couple of outside edges which I can use when I get back towards the outside again, which won't matter too much, because by the time you clean it up and sand it and whatever, it's not going to matter a lot if it's got a dirty edge on there. I'm just trying to, I'll use those pieces on the outsides or the insides, if you know what I mean. So when we clean it up, it doesn't matter anyway. But yeah, so I need to cut a few more strips yet to fill the gaps. So hopefully, yeah, I'll go cut a few more sticks, and hopefully we'll see if we can get one together tonight before I leave, or at least have it so I've got enough stuff, and then I might shoot down here later on and see if I can glue it up maybe, because that's going to be bloody fun, to be honest. I think I'm going to have to set a stick and glue the back side and try and slide it in and keep doing that, and hopefully I can get them in quick enough. I might have to bring some help maybe, see if I can get them in quick enough, and then get on with clamps and clamp in all this, try and clamp in these extra spots. I might have to undo these, you know, but at least clamp as many spots as I can. What have I got? I think I've got 5 or 6 of those clamps. I've got a couple of, I think I've got a couple of small, what do you want to call it, C clamps here too, I think. So yeah, hopefully that's enough. And obviously the blocks of wood too, when we're pulling it around, hopefully that might be enough just to, by the time we pull everything around tight, it should be enough. But yeah, here's hoping. Well, yeah, I'm trying to work out how to do this as I'm going. This is not glued. I'm just trying to get the pieces in there, and trying to work out the easiest way to get it in there and then get it squeezed up tight. Because when I glue it all together, it's going to be an absolute mongrel. I'm just trying to work out what I need to actually glue it with too, because I think that construction adhesive, even though it gives you a bit of playtime, this is not quick. So yeah, I don't know whether I need to have it out straight and get it all sitting and then get it all glued together and then pull it round and like try and clamp it in there. Yeah, it's not something I've done, so I'm trying to figure out the best way to do it. It's possibly, yeah, need to have it out there way, and then, you know, I can have obviously a double stack of timber in here, so I don't have to clamp this so much. Might just have to come in with a couple of clamps possibly, but yeah, it's from here round is going to be very awkward. I was thinking of maybe putting some, you know, making some wedge blocks to put in here to hold it tight and around the corners as well. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. Look, I'm going to need a shitload of clamps. I can see it coming. Yeah, like more than I've got, I think. But anyway, I'll work it out. But I think I'm about buggered for the day. Yeah, because I'm not going to get it glued up. So, but yeah, I'm trying to work out what to do here. Whether I glue it all straight, like have it in here, have enough hanging out each side, and then pull it round and clamp it and pull it and clamp it and pull it and clamp it, you know, and bring it round. Not sure. It's going to be fun. Righty, I'll get back to you. Yep, that's definitely the way to do it. Again, not glued, but I'm going to need a few more clamps. Yeah, so at least now I know how to do it. So yeah, I think if I got probably another one there at the other end, 3 in the corner, possibly 4, and then probably a couple of extras along here, probably one here, and then again into the corner. So we need at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, need probably 8 more clamps. I've got 2 here. I think there might be 3, but I definitely know there's 2. So yeah, we'll work out and then we'll see what extras we need, because I can sit the hood top, you know, the mock-up down. It doesn't have to be on there. So yeah, I just need to work out. I think we had 6 of those, but I'm not sure. But yeah, anyway, I think I can probably borrow a couple off Dad and, you know, get another few extras, or maybe a couple of G clamps or something like that. It won't matter much, but yeah, definitely that's the way to do it. So yeah, really want another one here just to hold the end of it, because that's where it'll be cut off. So one here to hold that nice and tight. Yeah, and then just keep going around and say, possibly, I don't know, I think it might be right here. I think that's enough tension if you clamp it tight enough and pull it around. I think with 2 people, I'll get some help to do this, I think. Yeah, and we should better do that, and then once we've got this one done, we can start making some more strips and get them set up. And yeah, the other thing I need to do is work out whether we're going to use that construction adhesive which is possible, but I think maybe just some good old wood glue might be faster. Smear it out in there and possibly, just use a bit of stick or something to just smear it out and put a piece, a layer in between. I think it's probably going to give you a little bit more working time. It's going to take longer to set, but if we can get, or even if I set one up each day and then come back in 24 hours type sort of thing, and see how we go. We've got 4 to make, so if it takes me 4 days to make them, or this part of it, and I can carry on with the other tubes and stuff, at least then we can get one going, and I think that's the way to do it. So you'll need basically a bit more, a few fillers in here. I need to try and make some quite long, a few long strips, and keep them for the outsides, so at least try and have the outside piece one bit. If not, I'll join it in the centre and just put an extra piece on there, and then we can sand it off or whatever later, just to get a nice join. But yeah, that's cool. At least now I've worked out how to do this, and that's probably going to be really, really nice and strong when it's glued. And surely that'll be really nice and strong. And obviously, when it's glued and everything's glued up nice and hard, it shouldn't go anywhere, I wouldn't imagine. I'll just need to probably check that measurement across there and just make sure that that is 1500 from outside of thing to outside when we've got the other piece round, but it should be alright. I'd imagine there'd be a little bit of pull in it, it'll flex a little bit. I just don't want it too much further past than that. But yeah, that's cool. At least I'm working out how to do it. When you've never done these things before, it takes a bit of thinking. Like if you'd done it a million times, you probably would have had 2 made, but the first time always takes the longest, and then the rest will fall into place pretty quick. Anyway, we'll catch you later on. I'm going to get out of here.